Welcome to Collider movie talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the Daily Show. We give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today, Mark Ellis.
Hello, everyone, and as we say here at the office, better late than never. We are up, live, and running with Movie Talk. My name is Mark. I want to give a personal thanks to everybody, all the Collider fans who came to Detroit this weekend and saw me do stand-up. You guys are the best in the world, and the reason why I was in Detroit is to do stand-up. Unfortunately, there was something huge that I missed this week, which was the Civil War screening that two of the numbskulls here at the panel got to see on Friday night. Ashley, introduce us to those guys who keep rubbing it in my face.
I know. Also here, Dennis Zen.
Yeah, there was a little movie we saw on Friday. I know. I don't know what that was.
Me neither. It's kind
Jon
of weird.
Schnepp, you want to chime in?
It's weird. Like I feel kind of like, I remember like at WonderCon I missed Preacher and someone was just like, ooh, it was so good, ooh, and
That was me too, though. Just to defend Ellis. That was me.
But now the tables have been turned, haven't they?
I was very classy. We're going to get into some Civil War. Very non-spoiler, very non-review even talk a little bit later in the show. But right now, actually, let's talk some box office.
Let's do it. It's Monday, which means it's time for the weekend box office report brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. It was a tight race for the #1 spot at the box office, but in the end, Batman and Superman were no match for Melissa McCarthy. The Boss, starring McCarthy, took #1 with an estimated $23.5 million, enough to narrowly beat out Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. The superhero matchup fell just short of a third weekend at #1, earning $23.4 million and bringing its total after 3 weeks to $296.7 million. Disney's Zootopia took the #3 spot with $14.5 million, bringing its total to $296.2 million after 6 weeks in theaters. Universal's My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 took the #4 spot with $6.4 million, and the weekend's other new release, Hardcore Henry, took in $5.1 million for the #5 spot. Mark, what are your thoughts on the weekend's box office numbers?
Well, look, we'll talk about why Batman v Superman simply can't catch a break, even though, look, it's been in theaters for a while, and now the Boss comes and knocks it out of the top spot. I was more concerned about the undercard this week, and I lost that one too, because I was hoping Hardcore Henry would come in ahead of My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. Hardcore Henry is a movie that I'm a huge fan of, but I understand it's only making $5 million in over 3,000 screens because the movie simply is not for everybody. It really isn't, but if you love hardcore action, you should check that movie out. Now, as far as Batman v Superman goes, you're looking at the diminishing returns in the box office. Initially, it didn't quite hit the estimate that people like you and me, Schnepp, thought it might with $200 million. It missed that mark. The critical reviews weren't great. Some fans loved it. Other fans were so-so on it. And so when you see it come out and in its third week of release, it can't match a Melissa McCarthy movie that didn't necessarily get great reviews, but I guess people want to see her in a comedy. I mean, she's proven that with Spy very recently. So what's your take on Batman v Superman coming in just under the Boss? I mean, look, these numbers could be finalized and changed a little bit, but as of right now, it did lose in its third week to the first week of the Boss.
Well, my take is just, word of mouth has finally hit Batman v Superman. I think, a lot of critics pretty much panned it when it came out, but fans and a lot of diehard, Batman, Superman fans who went and saw it and just said they loved it, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, stuff like that. They saw it and then they didn't come back. And then the people who were like, I'm going to wait till second weekend, kind of didn't go after hearing all the bad buzz from, the audience reviews went to like 70%, which is basically a C. Like something like Deadpool got like, I think it was a B or 85% audience out, or what, it might have even been higher, but I think that ultimately affected it. I mean, when you really think about it, this is the third weekend for Batman v Superman, and for it to come in second, none of us would have said that. None of us would have expected that. But, it's a close race, especially with the Boss also getting like lukewarm reviews. I wasn't excited to see it, but you told me you enjoyed it, so I might go see it. But to me, the big stunner was Hardcore Harry. Or it's Henry? What is it?
Henry.
I call it Hardcore Harry, and then I get corrected, and then it's actually Hardcore Henry.
Right, don't look up Hardcore Harry. That's a different movie.
It's a very different thing on the internet.
Very different. I'm still looking forward to seeing it, but it's surprising that a lot of video game people didn't go out to embrace it, especially because a lot of people said, wow, it's like watching a video game.
You know why? Because the video game players were at home playing video games.
Right. No, it's
That's
very
why.
true. It's very
Makes
true.
a lot of sense. It's a super violent movie, and it's even hard to market because everything in the movie is so violent. It's hard to show a lot of that stuff on TV. Dennis, what was your overall take of the box office?
Well, usually I do Friday show, and Christian's always there, and we've been battling out our box office predictions. I'm usually the winner. So this Friday, Christian throws this Hail Mary pass, putting the Boss at number 1 instead of Batman v Superman. And for some reason, Melissa McCarthy's in the end zone, shoves down Batman v Superman, shoves everyone else down, and catches the ball.
It's pass interference. Throw the flag.
And scores the touchdown. So myself and Josh and everyone online was just giving Christian a hard time, just giving him crap about how could you put Boss at number 1. Well, it looks like he was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just looks like Batman v Superman just doesn't have the staying power that we thought it was going to have. I mean, it still makes a ton of money. It's going to cross over 300 million domestically. I think probably over 800 worldwide. But they were expecting more. They were expecting something like over $1 billion worldwide, probably like closer to 400 domestically. So
Transformers numbers.
yeah, exactly. So I think that's probably the biggest story this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we narrowed down the problem in Batman v Superman, and that it's just there's not enough animated animals in that movie. Then look at Zootopia, man. It is still in the top 5. It made $14 million this week, and it seems like it's been out since like 2013. That's really impressive to see that movie. It's about to go over $300 million for its domestic take. Hats off to you. And speaking of animals, I think everybody is going to be bowing down to The Jungle Book, which comes out this weekend in wide release. I think Barbershop is going to find its audience. I think Criminal might have some action fans like me that want to see a bad 90s action movie, but Jungle Book is going to do monster numbers. You can take that to the bank. All right, Ashley, what's our next story?
The first reactions to Captain America Civil War are in, and big surprise, people love it. Critics and industry members gushed about it all on social media, with our own Collider video crew enthusiastically rubbing it in Mark's face and singing its praises as well. Along with the action being singled out as amazing, special mentions for plot and character development were also commented on, with big shout outs especially going to Spider-Man and Black Panther. Now Marvel will wait and see if box office and audiences will be just as kind when Captain America Civil War comes to theaters on May 6th. Dennis, you saw the movie. Are you surprised by all these positive reactions?
No, I'm not surprised at all. This is a movie we've been all looking forward to. Unfortunately, Mark Ellis over here did not get to see it. You don't screen a movie a month beforehand if you're not confident.
A whole
in
month.
It. Yes. So Marvel and Disney were very confident. They put it out there. I mean, we don't want to spoil anything. The embargo isn't until Wednesday, so we'll have a non-spoilers review up then. But for now, let's just talk about the actual reaction. All I can say is the atmosphere after the screening was much different than Batman v Superman, where when people came out of Batman v Superman, it was much more mixed. It was kind of like people
Some people were really angry.
Yeah, people
I
were
saw
angry,
people storming
or
off,
people that were just,
yelling Martha.
kind of, seemed a little more drained. Where this one, everyone coming out was just like buzzing and talking about. And I'm not gonna ruin the scene, but there is one scene in the movie that I was grinning the whole time. I was watching. I was just smiling.
Is it a word, airport?
Yes.
Airport.
Yes.
Airport.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised at all. Schnepp?
All right, look. I'm not ruining it. I'm not spoiling anything. A lot of you guys and gals out there were like, Schnepp, don't spoil the movie. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to say anything.
You like to talk.
I love to talk about, especially now that I totally saw Captain America Civil War. What's up? A month before it came out. Ellis, what's up? I'm not going to ruin anything, especially Ellis is my pal. I'm not going to do it for I'm not going to ruin any of it. I will say what a lot of other people have already said. I will echo the sentiments. When you see this airport fight scene that you've seen in the trailers, you have not seen anything yet. Unlike Batman v Superman, where you've seen the trailers and you've seen basically 95% of all of the action scenes in Batman v Superman, this film you've seen maybe 3%, and it's not a joke. It's incredible, and it will blow you away. Comic book fans, anyone who grew up watching Spider-Man or the Avengers or Captain America, any of the cartoons, these kinds of crossovers that you can only dream of happen in this film in such a way that is really astonishing. I loved it. I thought, some things about the overall, story, especially the villain, whatever. You'll hear some people complain about, the character could have been a better villain, but Marvel's always had that problem. They've had that problem, with all their villains, to be honest. But I think this villain didn't bother me like it maybe bothered some other people. But the story was incredible. The emotions that are brought in and develop, like I said. Hats off to the Russo brothers. Hats off to everyone who wrote it and produced it. It's an incredible film. Spider-Man is introduced in such an incredible way. Black Panther also introduced. It's just really well done. So
we with the Russo brothers are coming in. We're going to interview them for Collider Video. So we're posting that up, ask them about the movie and what their thoughts were.
Yeah, it's going to be a very busy day here at the studios because we're interviewing them for Collider. Christian and I are going to talk to them for Schmoes, and you can see that interview on Thursday. And I don't know how much Spider-Man's in the movie. I don't know how awesome Black Panther is yet. I don't know how many moms are named Martha in this movie. What I can tell you is that because they are screening it for people like us and of our ilk this early, that's got to be a huge indication that at least Marvel and Disney are very confident in what the critical reception to this movie is going to be, right?
Oh my God. And I'll say this also, the stakes with Iron Man v Captain America are so high in this film, so emotionally, you'll be so vested, and it's a really hard decision on who's right. Honestly. So,
well, make sure you guys stay locked into Collider all week because we're going to have a lot of Civil War coverage and pretty much leading up to the actual release of the movie, which is probably that Friday when I finally get to see it. So, Ashley, please stop this madness. Let's talk about something else.
Warner Brothers released the newest trailer for Suicide Squad during the MTV Movie Awards, showing a whole new set of action scenes with footage focusing on individual characters and how they interact with each other, along with even more shots of Batman mixed in. The tone is noticeably lighter with a lot of humor mixed in, showing that a lot of fun can be had in the DC extended universe. The movie stars Will Smith, Jared Leto, Margot Robbie, Jai Courtney, Joel Kinnaman, Cara Delevingne, and Viola Davis. Suicide Squad comes to theaters on August 5th. Schnepp, what'd you think of the new trailer for Suicide Squad?
I loved it. They're calling this the Blitz trailer because it's got the Blitz music. It's incredible. Well, every single trailer they've released for Suicide Squad just makes me really excited, and I cannot wait to see this. Villains fighting even tougher villains, like anti-heroes or whatever you want to call it. And the chemistry here is great. And a lot of people have been talking about they're doing these drastic reshoots on Suicide Squad because Batman v Superman was so dour and glum. They want to add some humor. David Ayers, I'm glad he went online yesterday and basically cleared it up for a lot of people. We've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. We're look, every single movie does reshoots now, and that's what they're doing. And David Ayers said, look, I don't know what anybody's talking about, all these me adding humor. They said, hey, do you want to do some reshoots and add some new stuff to the movie? And he said, if you ever get that opportunity, take it, because he's plussing the movie. That's what it's called, plussing the film. He's adding cooler things for all of us because people are really excited about seeing Suicide Squad. I think that everyone's going to react really well to this, the cut. I think everyone's going to dig this film, and I'm really excited. I can't help but look forward to this film, especially after being disappointed by Batman v Superman, then seeing this film, and it's this film just has that energy that it feels like even within the trailers of Batman v Superman, it didn't have this kind of fun energy. So I think the trailer's a really great. Also awesome to see more Batman. So.
Oh, yeah. The girl in the corner said, boy, I'm going to warn you, this trailer is amazing. I not only like the music, I like that there are two different tones in this trailer, where the first half you got to see a lot of the political goings on and why we need to assemble this team, just how dire the situation is. And then once the team gets thrown together, how much fun we're going to have watching this. The action's going to be incredible. There's a lot of humor in there. And you make a great point. Dennis, there's a lot of Batman scenes in here. Now, do you think that they're using Batman just we're showing every scene that Batman's in to get people into this movie, or do you think Batman might have a pretty prominent role here?
I think it's more of the former. I think they are showing as much as they can of Batman because Batman was so well received in Batman v Superman.
Right.
They want to get it. But I think, I think this movie is going to be great. All the trailers that we've seen so far, and including this last one, I've loved. I love the music choices. I've loved the humor in it. I love the action. This one seemed a little more they focused on Will Smith a little more than they did in the other ones, where he had more lines. I like the interactions between the different characters, and I think this is the movie that we're gonna watch and see in August and go, okay, people are going to see that no, critics don't hate DC movies, that this is just, it's a matter of taste. If you like this certain one and it fits what your tastes are, then you'll like it.
Yeah, I like seeing like the classic Will Smith personality a little bit more in this trailer too. But we also got to see a lot of Killer Croc. We got a lot of Harley Quinn. Got a lot of Ashley Mova's boy Jared Leto as the Joker.
Yeah.
Which villain stood out to you in this trailer, Schnepp?
I loved seeing the interaction between Will Smith and Fire Dude, whatever. I don't know. Like some of these guys, I don't know their names. I think Diablo.
El Diablo.
So just seeing the humor build up too. Like I would, hey, I'm sorry, I was just getting you mad, just working you out, whatever. So, and I like the Joker, seeing more scenes with the Joker. I think, it seems like they're edging towards like the Joker is going to be the villain of this film. That's what it feels like. So I'm really excited. I mean, I can't stand saying I'm really excited, but I can't help but say I'm really excited.
We're all really excited. You can see some of that excitement in our trailer review / reaction. It's going to be up on the channel later on today. If this trailer was in the segment we call buy or sell, I think it would have been a universal buy. And now we actually start that segment, buy or sell. Ashley's going to throw us the premise, then we're going to respond with whether we buy it or sell it, then defend our choice to the death.
Warner Brothers continued to show off their big-budgeted movies, this time releasing the newest trailer for their Harry Potter spin-off, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Directed by David Yates, the film is the first one scripted by Harry Potter creator J.K. Rowling, with Oscar-winning actor Eddie Redmayne playing the wizard Newt Scamander. The new trailer brings us back into the magical world of Harry Potter with an adventure that takes place in New York, 70 years before the events of the first Harry Potter in 1926. The film also stars Catherine Watterson, Dan Fogler, Alison Sudol, Ezra Miller, Samantha Morton, Jon Voight, Ron Perlman, and Colin Farrell. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them opens November 18th. Mark, buy or sell the new trailer for Fantastic Beasts?
Huge buy for me. I thought this trailer did a masterful job of showing us that it's a different world, but it's in the same universe that we've come to know and love. That music sounded very Harry Potter-like. There were some set pieces that looked very much like what you would see in one of those movies. We got a reference to Hogwarts, to Dumbledore. We saw the phrase Wizarding World. So we know where we are. But again, it's not exactly the same world. It's 70 years before. And so we get to see new characters. I love the way that Colin Farrell's voiceover was narrating what was going on with Eddie Redmayne's adventure coming to America for the first time, bringing that briefcase. Almost got like a Gremlins 1 vibe, because there's like stuff in there that we can't really take a look at. And before I throw it to you guys, Ashley, you and I watched this trailer.
We sure did.
Do you buy or sell this thing? You seem pretty excited to watch it.
Okay, I did seem pretty excited to watch this, and I got a chance to digest. I want to say I am, but I was super excited for this movie. I still am, because I love Eddie Redmayne, and I love that they're kind of taking a different approach to this. But I wanted something I was missing was a little bit more of a nod to Harry Potter. I wanted more of a connection there. But I'm still really excited to see it, so I'm going to buy it. And I think we did see platform. Is it I can't remember the number of the platform.
Like that train station
the
thing
train
in Harry
station.
Potter? Yeah.
So I was platform what? 9 3/4. Yes, thanks, girl.
Wendy with the knowledge
Wendy
over there.
with the
From
knowledge.
way downtown.
But yeah, I'm still really excited to see this. I just wanted more of a this is connected to the Harry Potter world. I love the music, though. It did put me in that Harry Potter mood.
So we got 1 3/4 buys from me and Ashley. How about you, Dennis?
I'm going to buy it as well. I like the fact that it's set in kind of a different time and universe. All the Harry Potter movies we've seen so far, yeah, there was glimpses of our regular world / Muggle world, but most of it was set at Hogwarts. I like that this is in the Muggle world, and then we're seeing the real world and how the fantastical and the magical is going to interact with our kind of everyday life. And so for that reason, I'm interested, because it's something different than we haven't seen before.
That's right. Schnepp, you were eating bagels. You were in the conference room. You were watching this trailer. It seemed like you had a smile on your face. Was that real?
It was a stale bagel. I'm selling this trailer. I'm just kidding. I love this trailer. It's Muggle worthy, as you see on the briefcase. Yeah, you know what? It's exciting to me because it is different than Harry Potter. I think we will see Hogwarts. We'll see all those little things that everyone loved from Harry Potter, but from a different perspective, from an outside perspective. And I like the idea that it's almost like, to me, like almost seeing that Rogue One trailer where you're revisiting a world that we're familiar with, but from an all-new perspective with all new characters. Like, it's great. I like the actor Dan Fogler. I thought, Eddie Redmayne is going to be great as this lead character. He just has this fun, almost like a Doctor Who-ish vibe to him. So everything in this trailer made me excited to see this new universe within the Harry Potter wizarding world.
Yeah, and you heard the cast that Ashley just rattled off. Like, there's a lot of big names in this movie that we haven't seen yet, so I thought it was not only a good trailer, it was a good teaser as well. Before we move to the next topic, we want to hear from you guys, not just about the Fantastic Beasts trailer, but how about that Suicide Squad trailer we just talked about? Comment right now if you're watching us live, and let us know on the YouTube vid afterwards what your thoughts were on these trailers. Do you guys buy it as big as we just did? Speaking of that, what's our next one?
Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, and Raphael are back in the newest trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. The new look offers up more of a story, with the turtles questioning their existence and always having to hide in the shadows in order to live. When supervillain Shredder escapes custody, he joins forces with mad scientist Baxter Stockman and two dim-witted henchmen, Bebop and Rocksteady, to unleash a diabolical plan to take over the world. As the turtles prepare to take on Shredder and his new crew, they find themselves facing an even greater evil with similar intentions, the notorious Krang. Dennis, do you buy or sell the newest trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I buy it. It seems like a lot of fun. I mean, I sold that WonderCon trailer that we'd seen before because they didn't really show anything new, and this one does, and it kind of gives a little more perspective on what the story is. They mention that at least some of the turtles want to turn human and want to be normal, and they want to go out there and live like normal people. So that's an angle we haven't heard before from the trailer. And then we've seen Rocksteady and Bebop and Krang and all that stuff. That I think it's gonna be fun. I think us here were the people that actually enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love the first Turtles movie. Why? Because I just didn't get enough turtles. The scenes with the turtles were the best in the movie, and that's why I'm looking forward to this one, and it's why I'm going to buy this latest trailer, because, look, all those characters that you met, like Baxter Stockman, Bebop, Rocksteady, Krang, that's like the cartoon. That's how I got ingratiated into the Turtles when I was a kid. This is what I've been dreaming about seeing for a long time. Do I think this movie is going to be brilliant? Do I think it's going to be, like, in my top 10 of the year? Absolutely not, and this trailer did nothing to change that perception, but I think it's going to be a fun movie. That's what I want from a Ninja Turtles film. Come out of the shadows and let's have a party. And if you think Pizza Hut isn't looking at that screenshot right now and figuring out a way to make a pizza that's got like bread, cheese, it's going to be coming probably before the movie gets out.
Yeah, it's called the triple pizza.
I think they actually did something like that, and it didn't work as well, because stuffed crust is like the greatest thing that ever happened to pizza in the last 30 years. And then they keep trying to inject cheese into places we don't really want it, but maybe this is the doorway that can get Pizza Hut to that next
slap a turtle
level.
shell on it, just call it the triple turtle, whatever. Anyway, I buy this trailer. You know what? I actually like the original, this newer version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the one that came out like 2 years ago. I know a lot of people didn't like, but I found it really fun. And this trailer looks like it's just more of the same, plus all these other characters. So I'm unlike you. I did not watch the cartoon show or read the comics, so I was never a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. I like the characters, but I saw I think one of the first one from the '90s, that first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and that was it. But this is really fun. I love, and I think a lot of the characters that you haven't seen yet, like Krang, those are the characters I can't wait to see, like the weird, like little alien brain-headed guys. So.
Oh, trust me, treat yourself to Secret of the Ooze. Dennis, let me ask you this though, because the trailer we saw at WonderCon was clearly aimed at focusing more on the human aspect of things, where you had Casey Jones and April O'Neil. Where do you think this is going to land? Because look, we're going to this movie. Casey Jones is a great addition, but we want to see the Turtles. Do you think that this one puts it back in the right skew of things for you as far as what we're going to see on screen?
I think so. I think they probably heard a lot of the complaints and criticisms, even though the movie did well and some people liked it. I think that was the main complaint, that there wasn't enough turtles in it, and that it was you had Megan Fox and Will Arnett, and I think this one you've seen far less of them in this. We have Casey Jones with Stephen Amell, but I mean this latest trailer didn't have them that much, and seeing them fight Krang, though, I think that's going to be very, very cool.
It's going to be pretty sweet, and that movie comes out sooner than you think. It's right around the corner. Ashley, what's our next buy or sell?
So much has been said about the darkness and dour nature of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. We still can look forward to an even darker cut when Zack Snyder releases an extended director's cut that will be rated R. In giving us an idea of what was cut and might be included in the R-rated version, Zack Snyder spoke to IGN about a particular particular scene he felt was actually too dark to make it into the movie. He said, "We had a scene that we cut from the movie where he tries to look for her when he finds out that Lex has got her. It was a slightly dark scene that we cut out because it sort of represented this dark side. Because when he was looking for his mom, he heard all the cries of all the potential crimes going on in the city, you know, when you look. This led to his idea of Superman as seen in the movie, saying, I kind of like the idea that he's taught himself not to look, because if he looks, it's just never ending, right? You have to know when, as Superman, when to intervene and when not to. Schnepp, do you buy or sell Zack Snyder's comments about the cut scene in Superman?
Well, I couldn't sell it more than ever possible. It was like this one thing really kind of clued me into why I didn't enjoy this version of Superman, though I liked the Man of Steel version that Zack Snyder made. Yet this Superman was just felt off to me, and I think it's inherent in what he just said. It's that's not what the character would ever do, and his interpretation of this character, and as well as Batman in this movie, is kind of off from what a lot of fans of the character Superman and Batman, like myself, wanted to see. So, you know, technically there's a lot of people who did enjoy the film. I did not enjoy the film, and the more times I saw it, the less I enjoyed it. So I'll definitely see the ultimate cut to see if some of these scenes make the film a better film. But like cutting this scene out, I mean, it makes sense to cut it out because it sounds like a horrible scene. It's basically like Superman letting all these other people die or get stabbed or beat up because he's looking for his mom, and ultimately doesn't even find his mom. So that's not what Superman's about. Superman, if you look at, you know, I've talked about Bryan Singer's Superman Returns multiple times and how I didn't like it, but a few things that I did like about it, that he did get right about the character. There's one scene in that film where Superman's floating above the earth and kind of like listening and just kind of tuning in to the planet and hearing what is going on. And when something happens, he's there to help. And that kind of what Kal-El and Superman is about. It's not about being like, oh, I'm doing things wrong and I keep failing. It's like, I've got to, it's like a lost Superman. And that's kind of Snyder's interpretation of him, is like, well, you can't save everyone. It's like, well, Superman would never say that. So it's like, it just feels like a total different interpretation of the character. And granted, he's doing Justice League now, so we'll see how he interprets these other characters, you know, but that's me.
Dennis, how about you?
I'm going to buy his comments. I actually think this scene, this director's cut is probably the most interesting director's cut that I've ever had, where I'm like, I really want to see it. I want to see this extra 30 minutes and see if it does flesh out the characters, flesh out the plots and all that stuff, and see how I feel about it. It's never going to jump from, okay, where I liked it to like, I'm going to love it, but it may move up there for me. What I do, I actually like this dilemma. I like this look into Superman. He can't save everyone. He can't. I mean, otherwise he'd just not sleep and he wouldn't even eat or shower or talk to Lois Lane or do anything. He would just spend the whole time just trying to save people, because there's that many people that need to be saved. And it is a dilemma. And I like that was something they considered. I just hope that they pull it off in the actual cut.
You bring up a great point, because it's like Superman, when that guy goes to get a haircut, it's probably going to take like half an hour.
Yeah.
And it's like so many people are dying that you could be saving because you need to get a haircut. That actual conundrum with that character is very intriguing to me. I buy Snyder's comments, but I also buy the fact that this should not have been in this particular movie, because it just would have added more confusion. This one scene being wedged into a movie that we don't need all this backstory with Superman, because we got that in Man of Steel. We want to see Batman and Superman, and we want to see the dawn of justice. And I don't know that in this movie, that scene sounds like something that belongs a lot more in a Man of Steel 2, which I know this thing was originally conceived as, but this was not a Superman sequel. This was a totally different thing to launch the Justice League and to see two all-time superheroes fight. I do appreciate what he was trying to do, though. My issue, and I like that we're painting Superman from the human perspective as he's like a godlike figure, because he can sense everybody's pain on Earth, or at least he's like Santa Claus, where he can see you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. But I don't like how much Zack Snyder, the director of this movie, in its third week of release, is already talking about all these great scenes we're going to see in the R-rated cut. I just think that it's almost like a concession to all the critics and fans that didn't love this movie. Like, oh, well, no, wait until you see the version of this movie I wanted to do. Like, I get that you want to defend your vision of it, but it just seems a little weird to me that we're already talking about how great this other movie is that we're not going to see for a few months.
I'm not talking about how great it is.
You're
That's
not,
for sure, yeah.
Yeah, but it just seems like it's like, no, don't worry, there's a better movie and there's somewhere. Well, why didn't we get to see that movie then?
Is this scene that he's talking about going to be in the ultimate cut?
They're saying it's possible. I mean, I'm just interested in seeing
I'd like to see it.
I think the 3-hour cut is what his actual vision for the movie was. And then the studio said, no, we need to take it down to 2.5 for money reasons. And so they made him chop a bunch of stuff, and they chopped a lot of stuff. And I want to see how the movie flows after that.
Yeah, now having said all that, I really want to see the R-rated cut. I just want to hear you talk about how great this movie is versus, oh, this movie coming out in 3 months is going to be a lot better. Well, we have no money issues here at Collider, which is why we're going to throw one more buy or sell at you. Get your cash ready. Ashley, what's our last one?
Hugh Jackman will play Wolverine one last time in the X-Men universe with the third solo movie gearing up for production. Though specific details are somewhat scarce, we do know who will be squaring off against Jackman as the film's big villain. Thanks to a report from Deadline, Narcos star Boyd Holbrook has signed on to play the film's villain, and as a yet nameless character. Deadline described as a relentless, calculating, and intense head of security for a global enterprise who is set against Jackman's Claude Wolverine Logan hero. The movie will feature Logan teaming with Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart, in a story that Jackman has teased as Old Man Logan. The Wolverine director, James Mangold, returns to direct. The movie comes to theaters on March 3rd, 2017. Mark buy or sell Boyd Holbrook as the villain in Wolverine 3.
It's a buy for me. I mean, this entire description of the movie sounds awesome. And when you're talking about Boyd Holbrook, it's a thing that I have seen a little bit of Narcos. I have not watched the entire season of Narcos. I had enough to digest between Deadpool, and I know that not Deadpool, Daredevil, and then 11/22/63. There's a lot of great live sports in this time of the year, so I haven't been able to watch Narcos yet. I haven't finished it. From what I've seen, though, it seems like some sort of intriguing storyline, particularly when you think about him being the head of a global security agency going against Old Man Logan and Wolverine teaming up with Professor X. So everything about this movie sounds good, and I think that Boyd Holbrook is going to be a great addition. Dennis?
I'm going to buy his addition. At first, when I saw the headline, it said Narcos star. I thought it was Pedro Pascal from Game of Thrones. It wasn't him. It's Boyd Holbrook. I thought he could. I watched Narcos, the entire stuff, and I really liked it, and he was good in it. What I do sell, though, is this villain description of this security guy, because Hugh Jackman has been hinting all along, Old Man Logan, Old Man Logan, Old Man Logan. I don't remember some sort of security thing. I mean, Old Man Logan's about a post-apocalyptic world. It's set in kind of a wild, wild west where the heroes and the villains take up different territories. I don't know where this guy would fit into that type of storyline. So it scares me that the storyline that we're going to get for it is going to be not even close.
Schnepp, does it sound too radically different from what we saw in the comics?
It is going to be totally radically different, and it's not going to be Old Man Logan. I could guarantee you that. There's no way they could do Old Man Logan. So when Hugh Jackman is saying Old Man Logan, it's probably going to have that flavor of like an older Wolverine. Maybe it might be like 10 years in the future, but it's not going to be post-apocalyptic with a spider buggy.
Lame.
It's not going to be that, Dennis. So like, just get that out of your mind, and then you might like the movie.
No,
it's going
to stay here.
I'm buying this. I haven't seen Narcos yet, but I actually like the premise that they've explained. I'm just gonna have to wait and see. You know, I guess we're gonna see Wolverine in X-Men Apocalypse before we see this, so we're gonna get that flavor. So.
That's right. Well, look, I mean, and I know that Hugh Jackman has said this is the last time he's gonna have the claws and all that stuff. Dennis, do you think there's any way that this movie could tease us with the proposition of seeing an Old Man Logan movie after the Wolverine film that we're going to get, or do you really think this is going to be the last rodeo for Hugh Jackman?
I think it's the last rodeo for him. That's why I'm disappointed, because if it is something that leads to an Old Man Logan story, that'd be great, but I don't think he's coming back. I think this is the last one.
Schnepp?
I think he's coming back. Never say never. They got Sean Connery to put on that Bond outfit again. Come on. Wolverine's going to come back in 10 years. Jackman's going to be like, all right, I'm going to get all ripped up again. He's like in his 60s. That's going to be the Old Man Logan.
If Sean Connery comes back as Grandpa Logan, I will totally buy an Old Man Logan spinoff movie. Okay, that's it for Buy or Sell. And now we like to hear from you guys. We're going to move on to Mailbag, which is where you guys email us your questions, and Ashley reads a few live on air. If you want to email a question to us, do so at any time. collidervideo@gmail.com. And at the end of this show, we're going to save a few minutes for your live Twitter questions. Tweet us right now at Collider Video. Ashley is the gatekeeper, so be very nice to her. And you might want to mention how great that Jared Leto stud is. Ashley, What's up first?
Well, Matthew Yamasaki writes, "Hey Collider, have you heard anything about the Jumanji remake? I know you guys announced it a while back, but since then, nothing. Thanks and keep up the great work."
Well, at the beginning of this year, when Ashley and I were doing all of those studio release date videos for Collider, we talked about Jumanji 2 and how this thing is, it seems like a property that was all set to go and they wanted a Christmas release. And then we haven't heard that much about it since then. So I think that that release date might be getting pushed back. Is that how you guys read it?
Yeah, the release date did get pushed back. It moved from, I think, Christmas of this year to July of next year. That's why they haven't started shooting it, and Jake Kasdan is directing it. And I don't know. I think it might have had something to do with the whole Rogue One thing. I don't know. Some Star Wars moving around. I'm not exactly sure why they moved it, but I think they just haven't developed it enough.
Well, Jumanji's a movie I think could work in the summertime. I just think it's a much more suited property to be like a November, December kind of release date. We got more of a family flavor. Schnepp, is this something that we need to see, that we want to see? Are you looking forward to another trip in the Jumanji universe?
Not really, but you know, if they make it, I'll see it. You know, it's a game, so I agree with you. It would work better November, December. It sounds like that would be the kind of time when you would release the Jumanji video game version. So you know, try to do all those kind of tie-ins. But yeah, honestly, I don't care either way.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a huge Robin Williams fan. I never really cared about the first Jumanji movie, and I think that when you do it in this day and age, the effects that you could pull off with Jumanji, I mean, look, once you guys see Jungle Book, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
If you put the right amount of funds into this thing, and if you have those available to you, and you do it right, and you take your time with it, which helps with the postponing production, this thing could be a great movie to watch, an awesome movie theater experience if they do it right. Or they could just, you know, release it whenever they want and make gobs of money and no one would care about it. So we'll have to wait and find out more. Ashley, next mailbag.
Caleb Lopez writes, "Hello, my name is Caleb Lopez. And first off, thanks for making first period math more tolerable." Okay, so my question is about the Sicario 2 sequel. I was worried when they announced it, but now I've had a change of heart. What if they dive more into this Medellin, aka when one drug cartel owns all the business, being the US controlling all of it? I think that would be a good movie.
I think that sounds like a great movie, and I also think you don't need to worry about math. Like, you really don't. This is, if you are in school right now and you're wondering which period do I watch movie talk in, math. I've never had to use any of that crap since I got out of college.
Especially with computers.
Yeah, you have a thing. This thing does everything that you need. This is a phone, by the way. You have this. You have Google. You can just, I don't understand why, unless you're going to be like a math major, I think it's perfectly okay.
I think math is the class that you need to pay most attention in, if anything. Yeah.
Why?
Fall back in like band or something. I don't know.
I mean, look, you need to know your multiplication tables and how to divide stuff, but once you start getting into trigonometry,
well, dude, you didn't like algebra
comes
2?
At you.
X divided by
Yeah, man, I was good at math too. I did okay at math. As far as your question goes, Caleb, yeah, I think that sounds like a really cool premise. The fact that you have you seen the Cartel Land documentary? That's like a really harrowing insight into what's going on in Mexico, United States relations, as far as the government agencies and these cartels that are vying for control right now. So there's a lot of different angles you could take on the next Sicario film, but I think with all this stuff going on, it's definitely ripe for a sequel and more trips into the Sicario world, right, Dennis?
Well, I like the idea of exploring the cartel more, and even Benicio del Toro's character, but they have announced that they're bringing back the rest of the cast, which I still don't understand how a sequel works like that unless they are trying to tell some sort of redemption story for Emily Blunt's character, but her character doesn't need redemption because the way the story was told was that we were looking through her eyes, and so I don't know why they would want to bring her back and just like have her come in and like gun down cartel. That's not the movie I loved in the first Sicario, so why make it an action, you know, type of revenge story in the second one?
That's right, if that's the way they're going. How about you, Schnepp?
It's hard to tell. I mean, I'm just going to wait and see. I agree with Dennis. I loved Sicario, but hearing even the word Sicario 2 just makes me want to throw up. It feels like a money grab, even though it's like, it did okay. It wasn't like it made a ton of money, but it's my question is why? So I guess I'll find out. Obviously, they have a story there. That's why everyone's coming back to do it. So maybe it'll be great. So I should just shut up and wait till the movie comes out.
It did well, and it did very well. Critics love the movie, so I think there's going to be a market for it. It's just a matter of what story they feel like telling in the next one. All right, that's it for Mailbag. So now it's time for live Twitter questions. Whatever period of class you're in right now, feel free to tweet us, and Ashley's going to read a few of them right now. What's up first, Ashley?
Ethan Middleton writes, any movies that have made you guys cry?
Oh, tons, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I talk about how I will get emotional watching Star Wars, but that's more like if I see a Star Wars trailer and like The Force Awakens, like I wept during the trailer more so than the actual movie just because it was back and I couldn't believe I was actually seeing it. Sports movies, man. It doesn't matter what sport you want to talk about. There's always every time Rudy. It's not so much when the little hobbit runs on the field. It's more when he finds out he gets into Notre Dame. And he's sitting in the park bench, and there's the lake right there, and it's just this golden Midwestern fall afternoon. And he opens the letter, and he just starts crying, and he's like so happy. That gets me every time. It's weird to see a grown man cry and then immediately go into the gym to go work out. But that's what Rudy does to me. It makes me cry, and it makes me want to pump some iron. How about you, Dennis?
I mean, my eyes got a little misty pretty recently, when I was watching Civil War.
Oh, boy. I cried for a very different reason.
During one scene, and I got misty-eyed. And it wasn't from the emotion of a scene, just seeing what was on the screen that I thought I never would see in my lifetime.
Yeah.
You were crying because I wasn't there and I couldn't share in the experience.
I think Dennis was crying just like I was during the Civil War screening that we saw that Mark Ellis didn't. I got a little emotional it might be during a sequence that you might, we'll have to compare notes later. Well, not on screen, no spoilers.
Off camera,
but
away from my ears.
What? Up was one of those movies within the first 5 minutes. They had me like crying. And
it's a gut punch.
Yeah. I remember when I saw Beetlejuice. Or no, it wasn't Beetlejuice. I'm sorry. It was Edward Scissorhands at the very end. I saw it in the theater when I was in college, and it got me all a little like emotional at the very end when he's like cutting those ice sculptures. I was like, he's all by himself. What else?
I'm getting some online. We're getting some in the comment section. We're getting some E.T. We're getting some Selma. We're getting some Dead Poet Society. The other one I'll throw in there, Empire of the Sun, is Dumbo. Is Dumbo when Dumbo and his mom rub trunks for the lab because his mom's in jail. She's like a convict, right? Wrongfully accused of some sort of crime. I think she was like running drugs for the card. I don't know why she was in jail necessarily, but she was locked up away from Dumbo. Dumbo was going to go off on his adventure, and then they rubbed trunks for the last time. And oh my God,
12 Years a Slave. 12 Years a Slave got me emotional when they had the main character Chiwetel hanging by his just dangling. Just the abuse of that kind of it's astonishing that we did that to people. So.
Ashley, how about you? What moves you to tears?
Well, you guys know that like crying is one of my favorite pastimes, so it's really no big deal.
You're very good at it.
I am very good at it. Pisces, Pisces swag. But the first movie I cried in was The Notebook. But I think that it only stands out to me because it was the first movie. I was old enough to kind of understand that maybe you should cry in movies. So that's the only reason why it stands out. And every Pixar movie gets me every time. I don't know why.
Yeah, somebody else wrote Marley and Me. That's the other one.
Oh, like the Marley and Me.
Yeah, I went through luckily a very nice dog experience this past week when my girlfriend, one of her friends, rescued a little puppy, Oscar. We found him a good family. He's doing great. But like, I always think of Marley and Me, and at the end of that movie, I'm not going to say what happens, but holy God, it is a water. It's a Niagara Falls situation really at the end of that movie. Okay, let's move on. Next Twitter question.
Christopher Woodburn writes, do you guys think that once Suicide Squad comes out, people will compare Leto and Ledger?
Oh, yeah,
of course.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And I have a feeling Leto's going to kill it, but he's going to do a different type of Joker than Heath Ledger did. So I think we can love both of them.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like you can love Marvel movies and DC movies.
Right.
You don't have to pick just one.
It's not like you have to be getting paid by one version of the Joker. Every version of the Joker is plentiful with money.
Well, clearly you nerds have never seen Highlander because there can be only one. What? We have to talk about who's the best of all time. I think it's still going to be Ledger, but the way that Leto's Joker looks in this movie, it's a very different tone from what The Dark Knight was. Because again, this thing, there's going to be a lot of levity, a lot of humor. He's going to, I think, be a little more energetic, a little more boisterous with this film. And you're also going to see him interact with other villains, which I think is going to be a totally different thing that we never really got to explore explore that much in The Dark Knight or even Batman 1989 for that matter. So I thought Nicholson's Joker was great. I thought Ledger's Joker was great. I think we got another awesome Joker in Leto.
I don't think anyone's ever going to beat Cesar Romero's Joker from the Batman 1960s comedy. Kapow, baby! But you know what? Seriously, I think Leto is going to really kill it. I think he's gonna be a murderous and creepy Joker, but he's also going to be really funny, and he's going to be funnier, having more humor to it than Heath Ledger's Joker. So I think with that, we're going to see a little bit of a combination of Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger in this new version. So I can't wait to see this new Joker. I love the Joker.
60s Batman rocks, and if you know a little something about Jon Schnepp, he always has shark spray on him just in case.
That's right.
What's our next one, Ashley?
Janine writes, what parts of different directors' styles would you take and put together to create your own perfect film?
Ooh, man, that is so we just get to Voltron, our dream director. It's like you get to take this guy's eye, this guy's storytelling ability, this guy's effects. Somebody that I really am impressed with as far as effects go is Neil Blomkamp. I think he does amazing work, and I think that like something like Chappie, the story just kind of went off the rails. So you want somebody who's more of a storyteller for something like that. So maybe you get him, and then you get Spielberg is obviously the master of something like that. I want to throw Scorsese in there too. I want to throw even the way that Jon Favreau, after you see The Jungle Book, the way that just the childlike wonderment with I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. The way that guy tells a story. So it's really tough to just pick four right off the top of the bat. Dennis, do you have any take on this?
Well, it's tough because yes, different directors have amazing styles, but it's doing the Voltron thing doesn't really work for directing because you take like the different styles, right? Like it's something like Scorsese, he does very kinetic, very high-paced, a lot of camera movement, or you take someone like I don't know, Wes Anderson, where like he has his locked-off shots that are 90-degree angles. You can't just mix and match those things together. Otherwise, you kind of come up with a blob, Yeah. So I would love different aspects of different directors and their styles, but I would never really want to mash them together.
If I was going to mash some different directors together, I would say, and put them in a blender, so they're all blended. Cronenberg, Lynch, Kubrick, and Spielberg. I think that would be a really weird movie, and I would see that movie.
Yeah, see, I'm not going to put them in a blender. I'm going to put them in a microwave, and I'm going to blow them up and then stir them all into a stew. And I could also take, you could take Denis Villeneuve.
Sure.
You could take Nolan is another one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great directors out there, but sometimes if everybody's got to collaborate, it ends up just being like
mishmash,
the all-star game, and nobody really wants to see it as much as a regular game.
Honestly, that's what makes going to films such a cool experience. Is not only the actors, but the writers and the directors. Like you get to see a different kind of filmic experience. So I have to agree with Dennis that there is no like magical combination that will make the ultimate director. That's what's so cool about all these different directors. They have their own styles.
Jeff Nichols and Steven Spielberg. Okay, Ashley, let's do one more Twitter question.
All right. Rob Cartel writes, which wedding from a movie would you like to attend?
Ooh, which one do I want to? I don't really want to be in a wedding anytime soon. So if I'm just going as like a guest and I get to hang out and get drunk at the reception, Wedding Crasher seemed like there's a lot of fun weddings involved there. The 4 weddings, there were 4 weddings and a funeral, seemed like a blast to me. Best wedding of all. There's a movie coming out later this year starring a very funny comic, Adam Devine, called Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Maybe that wedding is the one that I want to attend the most because you're going to have a lot of laughs. How about you, Dennis?
Oh, I'm trying to think of movies with weddings in them.
I could think of a couple I don't want to attend. The Kill Bill wedding, because everybody got killed in it.
The Red Wedding?
Yeah, the Red Wedding. Definitely don't want to be the Starks in that situation.
The wedding at the end of Sound of Music always seemed like a buzzkill to me because, like, yeah, they're getting married and it's nice, it's a happy ending, but you still, like, I don't know. There's a lot of evil stuff going on around that movie, and I don't want to necessarily be involved. Plus, you got to hang out with not one, not two. There's 7 Von Trapp kids that are running around that wedding, just annoying the crap out of everybody trying to have a good time and have a few shots.
I would go to Superman's wedding, Fantastic Four's wedding, because all the superheroes would be there, and eventually a villain would crash it, and you get to see a really cool fight, maybe die.
Oh, you know what? You could meet our boy Sean Connery at the end of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Remember, he makes a surprise at the end of that wedding.
No.
It's like, I speak, and then he comes in. He was paid like $100,000 just to ride one horse. How about you, Dennis? You've had some time to think about this. What wedding are you going to?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the only one most recently was the wedding at the end of Entourage, where they were just hanging out, maybe just hanging out with Vinny and the boys, having a good time. Ronda Rousey's there.
Right.
Some hot women are there.
You need no emotional ties to the nuptials. You just want to have a good party.
Yes.
That's all you really care about with a wedding.
Yeah, if you're not in the wedding, that's all you care about is the food good? Can you get drunk? Is it open bar? And how many pretty women are there available?
Yeah, open bar is a huge thing for me. I would just want to show up, give a quick 5-minute toast, and then dance the night away. Ashley, you're not allowed to say The Notebook. What movie wedding do you most want to be
I was
at?
going to say Wedding Crashers, but I will go with Bridesmaids so I can party with a drunken Kristen Wiig.
Ooh,
That's a
that's
perfect
right.
perfect answer. Ashley wins.
And
win.
Wilson
win.
Phillips show up. Someday
my
somebody's
wedding.
going to make you want to turn around and say
I
goodbye.
want to party with the bride. Yeah, but actually all the
That whole
dudes,
crew, yeah.
the girls were awesome. All the dudes are kind of floppy and lame, so I don't know if I'd want
The
to.
girls are what matter,
Yeah.
right?
You're right.
We are going to be debating this for hours, and sorry, we're turning the cameras off in about a minute because that's all the time we have for Movie Talk today. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks to the crew working very, very hard to get us up live and running here today. I want to thank everybody at the table. Dennis, where can everybody find you besides weddings?
You can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, on Instagram, Dennis.tzng. And don't forget to watch TV Talk later tonight. And also, we're interviewing the Russo brothers. I'm not exactly sure when we're releasing that, but sometime before the movie comes out.
It's going to be a very fun day here at Collider. Now, we want to remind you guys that the Movie Trivia Schmodown this week features a matchup of Clark Wolf and Josh McCouga. That'll be a barn burner. But next week, I believe, we're going to have Finstock versus this guy, Jon Schnepp. Are you looking forward to that?
I am, man. It's going to be fun. Can't wait. Finstock, coming for you, baby. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram, just at Jon Schnepp, and check out my Kickstarter, Sweaties Unite, Rise of the Uber Nerd. It's the last week. Pitch in if you want me to make this film. Check it out.
That's right. I'm tweeting that baby out right after we get off here. Ashley Mova, where can everybody find you?
On Twitter and on Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Monday, guys.
And my name is Mark Ellis. You guys can find me on all the social media networks just at Mark Ellis Live. Make sure you guys check out our friends at AMC Theaters. Just go to amctheaters.com for all the box office and showtime information, and bookmark collider.com. That's where we go for most of our movie news. A lot of breaking stories there, especially today. And of course, subscribe right here to Collider Video on YouTube. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Pay attention in math class.
Maths.